We are now recording. Okay, I hope everybody heard that. Okay, let's get ourselves going straight away. And let me share my screen with you guys. And then we are away. Okay. Um, okay, hopefully everybody can see that. Okay, we are up and running. Let's get going. Okay. Um, Welcome on board, everybody. CAIA Level 2 revision and exam program. This is the final session that we run, okay, just to make sure everybody is on board with us in terms of the final exam coming up in about a month's time. So the purpose of today's session is really to give everybody a little bit of a look at the CAIA Level 2 exam, what you can expect over there, okay, strategies around the exam, and all good things like that. So hopefully it'll be a benefit to all concerned. Okay, I am going to keep, just in terms of the admin of today's session, guys, I'm going to keep the chat box open. So if anybody has got any questions or queries or concerns, just pop your question into the chat, and I'll pick them up as we go through the session. Please, guys, don't wait until the end of the session, okay, to ask your question. Rather ask it as we go through the material, and we can answer it there and then. That's always the best way to do it. Okay, guys, let us get going straight away. Okay, first and foremost, what I want to do is just introduce myself for those that are not familiar with Edge or with our programs. Uh, so here we go. My name is Russell Jude. Okay, I head up the CAIA program at our company called Edge Designations, where we do prep services for CFA, FRM, CAIA, and FTP as well. Anybody interested, there is our web address, www.edgedesignations.com, and I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of today's session for anybody that is interested in any kind of exam prep or things like that. With absolute pleasure, we'll show you all of that today. Okay, guys, let's get ourselves going straight away. We've got a lot to cover. If you are watching the clock, okay, just keep in mind we'll go for around about 1.5 hours, 90 minutes altogether. So just keep a watch over that. Okay, we are very blessed today to have candidates from all over the world. So I can't tell you exactly what time you are sitting at. Could be morning if you're from the Americas, Canadas, etc. Afternoon time for the Europeans and South Africans. And quite late at night if you are anywhere, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. So welcome to everybody. We are getting going. Let's go. Okay, guys, in terms of your exam, okay, your exam is going to be a 4-hour exam. And when you say 4 hours, it's not exactly 4 hours, okay? In a row, it's 2 hours, short break, followed by another 2 hours. Okay, so it's a lengthy exam by all accounts. Okay, now there are two, and I'm going to refer to this as we go through the program today, guys. There are two candidates that find themselves in CAIA Level 2. Okay, there are those that came through the normal system, that came through the CAIA Level 1 exam, okay, and are somewhat familiar with the way CAIA examines, at least familiar with the way CAIA examines multiple choice questions. Because remember, CAIA Level 1, what did you see over there, guys? It was a complete multiple choice a question exam. So you're familiar with that. Part of your exam in CAIA Level 2 will also be MCQs. You're familiar with that. Okay. The other candidate that we have on board today, and the other candidate that we found their way into CAIA Level 2, okay, are the CFA Level 2 guys. Several CFA Level 3 guys. Sorry, apologies. These are candidates via the Stackable Credentials program that are able to join CAIA Level 2. They can skip CAIA Level 1. And these candidates, I'm going to be talking to them as well today. We have to split it up a little bit into two to make sure everybody gets addressed. These particular candidates, we call them the CFA candidates, are not yet familiar with the way CAIA examines, so we'll address that for you as well. So when we look at our exam preparation today, guys, we're going to be looking at it from two components: the multiple choice component, as well as what we call the constructed response component as well. Okay, okay, let's have a look over here. Okay, question. Okay, and guys, I hope you don't mind if you don't want your name mentioned, just give a private comment if you don't mind. Then I will mention names as well. From Matt, I know you provide. This is a question that we've got. I know you provide formula lists. Okay. Oops. Okay. I know you provide formula lists for each chapter reading. Do we also have a recommended lists of lists for each chapter? I'm not, Matt, I'm not sure. Apologies if I understand your question completely. What you mean by a list of lists? Is that just a combined list that you're looking for? Let me know, and with absolute pleasure, we'll sort that out for you. Okay. Guys, looking at your exam, as mentioned, it's 2 separate exams of 2 hours each, okay? But it's important to remember, guys, that both of the exams are definitely not the same, and they don't even carry the same mark allocation. Okay, let's have a look over here. Okay, your very first exam is your multiple choice exam. Okay, that first exam, it's 2 hours, okay? But listen, look at that. It's 70% of the total marks. I'm going to show you how we break down the marks as we go through, just to make sure you've got a complete clarity in terms of what your exam looks like. Okay, so guys, you come in right in the morning. We always call it the morning or exam session number 1. Okay, and just remember, guys, you've got 2 hours. A little bit of a change that's happened. I'm going to talk through that in a second, and I'm going to show you both of them. The first one, okay. You've got 120 minutes, okay, and you've got to do, that's 2 hours of course, and you've got to do 100 multiple choice questions. The maths over here is easy. We call this the 72 seconds problem. Okay, why? Because you've got 72 seconds per multiple choice question. Is that quick? Fairly quick. Okay, for those that are not familiar, particularly the CFA guys, not familiar with the way CAIA examines, 72 seconds is quick. Okay, remember in terms of all the other designations out there, CFA you've got 90 seconds, 90 seconds per question. FRM quite a bit longer, 2 minutes 24 seconds per question. CAIA you've only got 72 seconds a question, so yes, it is fairly quick. Okay, now something that was introduced just this year from CAIA is CAIA said, listen guys, okay, we are adding on another 10 minutes to your exam. It's no longer 120 minutes, but it's 130 minutes. Okay, what does that mean? Where's the extra 10 minutes? Now, the extra 10 minutes came about as CAIA have told us, you know what, when you finished your 120 minutes, we're giving you 10 extra minutes now, and you can use these 10 minutes to provide comments, queries, anything that you like. So if you found perhaps question number 21 in your exam to be not fair, you found it to be too long, you found it something that should not have been in the exam, wasn't related to what you've studied, you can provide a comment to CAIA. Okay, in this additional 10 minutes that they've got. If you feel a question was incorrect, provide a comment with us in the extra 10 minutes. CAIA will look through all of these comments and address them, not to you personally, you won't get commentary back, but they will look at them to make sure that the exam overall has been fair. Okay. If you don't want to use that 10 minutes, which I'm begging you not to, please don't provide commentary. CAIA will work it out on their own. If there's a mistake in the exam, guys, if there's something that's too long, too unfair, too whatever, CAIA is going to work it out. Just by way of when they look at the overall marks, they find everybody got the same question wrong, they're going to look at that question. There's really little need, guys, and I'm being honest with you guys, for you to be providing commentary in this extra 10 minutes. But if you decide not to provide commentary, questions, queries on the exam, this additional 10 minutes belongs to you. You can use it just to carry on writing. So guys, please don't comment, okay? Use the extra 10 minutes, okay, to be able to answer a little bit longer. Look what that does for you. If memory serves, okay, I should just use my calculator. I don't need to use the memory then, okay? Because if you're going to use this additional time, the extra 10 minutes, okay, and now you've got 130 minutes, okay, to do the same multiple choice questions, okay, the same questions, your time now goes up from 72 seconds to 78 seconds. So guys, look at that. Okay, so please, I beg of you guys, I know sometimes you may be tempted to want to pass a comment or say this thing wasn't fair or what the question so and so was incorrect. You felt don't waste time on that, guys. Okay, use the extra time that you've now got. Okay, and your total time then goes up to 78 seconds from what was in the past 72. Okay, so that's how you score a little bit of extra time. Okay. What's interesting about this first part of the exam, guys, it counts for 70% of your total mark. Okay, which is interesting because you're going to write a second exam session number 2. Okay, and exam session number 2 only counts for 30%. Same time, okay, 2 hours for exam session 2, constructed response, but it only counts for 30% of your exam. Okay, now just by way of illustration, guys, and I'll show you this down here. Okay, let's just say, for example, you've got exam session number 1, okay, and you've got exam session number 2. Now, hopefully via this illustration, it'll answer some of your questions. Okay, just say for example, exam session 1, okay, you got 100 out of 100. Incredible. You got 100% for exam session 1. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so you got 100% for exam session 1. What does that give you? Okay, now how do we work out the mark? So you'll take that 100% and you will, I'm just going to change my color over here to make it nice and easy. 100% times 70% of the marks. Okay, you are sitting so far at 70 out of 100. Everybody clear? Let's just say, for example, you get a bad headache in the afternoon or exam session 2, and you get yourself 0 out of 30. Wow. Okay, you don't score any marks in the exam session 2, so you get, nice and easy, you get 0%. Okay, for exam session number 2, we times that then by 30%. Okay, which of course is 0, and you end up overall, guys, with 70%. Big smile. Why, guys? Because you passed the exam. Okay, everyone comfortable with that? Now, hopefully this illustration will answer a couple questions for you. Number 1, okay, in order to pass this exam, maximum, CAIA tell us, is you've got to get 70%. As you can see in my illustration over here, you've got 70%, so you are home dry. Question number 2 is what happens, well, illustration number 2, as you can see, exam session number 1, okay, counts for significantly more marks. That's the multiple choice question, counts for 70% of the marks, and exam session 2 only counts for 30% of the marks. Point number 3, you don't have to pass both exams. If you get, as you can see, you get 0% over here. For exam session 2, it doesn't matter because overall you've got yourself 70% and you are home dry. Okay, everybody comfortable with that? Okay, good. Another question over here, okay, from Sandeep. I understand CAIA provides some formulas on the exam. Which formulas will be provided? Guys, what I will do for you is I will, and Sandeep, I'm going to make this your responsibility to remind me. Pop me an email, please. Okay, just to remind me. I've got a list of all of those that CAIA will provide in your exam. But guys, to be honest, if memory serves, I think it was around about 7 or 8 formulas. That's it. Okay, there are very, very few formulas that CAIA provides to you in this exam. The rest have to be learned by heart. Okay, but we'll get to that as we go through. Is everybody comfortable thus far? Okay. Let's have a look over here. Just a quick one over here, and you can see what I've done over here, guys. Okay, I've put over here now 130 minutes per exam. Can you all see where I got the 130 minutes? I'm almost, for my candidates, for all my Edge students, I'm almost recommending, guys, don't even look at the commentary. Think about it as if the CAIA have now moved up from 120 minutes per exam to 130 minutes, and use that extra 10 minutes for your exam. Okay, your exam window, guys, fits between 15 to 26 September. So yes, we've still got more than enough time for this exam. No need at this point to be stressing. Time is still on our side. And remember, guys, CAIA have just closed the exam window on the 4th of September. So CAIA clearly believes that this exam can be passed, even if you just start on the 5th of September, the day after closing. I wouldn't recommend that as a strategy, but hey, we've got time. Okay. Let's just have a look over here. We've got a question or two. Okay. Okay. By lists of lists, I'm talking about any areas where there's an obvious list of items that need to remember. 6 properties of realized volatility. Oh no, that we haven't done. It's an interesting one, Matt. And I'd be interested to hear from candidates. Would that be an interesting a value add to everybody? Okay. For example, as Matt puts over here, 6 properties of realized volatility, 6 cybersecurity good practices, etc., etc. Okay. Okay. So okay, just if that's of interest to people, let me know. Matt, I can't tell you that it would be a rather long list. I'll explain to you as we go through, guys, okay, why that would be a rather long list, okay, but we'll talk about that as we go through. Okay, question from here, Abhinav, okay, you haven't been able to get a response from the team. I'll work on that to you. And I'm going to put through, guys, today as well. I'll see if I can work out how to do it. I'm not the most technically inclined, okay, but I will send also after today's session with absolute pleasure. I will send everybody a link to the WhatsApp group for all the candidates. If you want to join it, with pleasure. If not, obviously there's no stress at all. Okay, but I'll get that done today for you as well. Once we finish today's session, guys, I'm going to send you a copy of the notes from today's session, guys, as well as the video from today's session as well. Okay, good. Let's get ourselves going into the one more admin point before we start the actual material. Is there are typically, guys, going to be 2 ways to write this exam. There's what we call prometric. Prometric, okay, is typically what they always use. It depends where you are, which location you're in, what they call that. Prometric means you go to an actual, okay, what we call an exam center. Okay, so prometric is you go to your exam center and you write your exam over there. Most candidates are going to go for this option, prometric. And just to give you a little bit of an indication, particularly for the CFA guys who haven't written a CAIA exam before, at the exam center, you get a computer, a keyboard, you get yourself a mouse. Everything that you need is provided there for you. In terms of rough workings, you also get a whiteboard, a little board. It's not huge, okay, and you get a whiteboard marker to be able to do all your rough workings on. So everything is provided for you. I think you even get earphones there as well. So it's really a fantastic setup. It's well set up. The room is quiet. You write with about another 10 odd candidates. If possible, that's the best way to go. The other way, okay, is called online. Online proctoring, okay, is when you write at home. Okay, when I say at home, could be in your office, could be anywhere like that, but it's not an exam center. Okay, and who chooses this particular option? Well, sometimes you may not have the option, okay, because it may not be available to you. There may not be an exam center close enough to your area, could be, okay, and you may need to go for online proctoring. Online proctoring means you write at home, but just a little bit of information about that one is you're going to have to give the proctor complete access to your system, your computer system. They have got cameras on you. You've got to position the cameras so they can see you at all times. You've got to have, like you can see behind me over here, guys, a complete blank wall, no books on the shelves, nothing like that. And of course, just a bit of a practical one. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom for the entire exam session. So that's 2 hours. Of course, because they don't know what you're going to do there. Okay, so there we go. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, guys, if at all possible, I always recommend that guys go for the exam center if possible. It's well set up. It works. It's professional. We have had a few, I don't want to scare candidates, we've had a few issues in the past with online proctoring. But as I say, guys, it may, for some candidates, it may not even be an option. Okay, good. Guys, let us move on straight away. Okay, now on to what your exam is going to look like, the topic weights, etc., etc. Okay, as we move into this component here, guys, you notice, of course, that by now everybody's familiar with this. there are 9 topics, exam topics for CAIA level 2. Okay, each one comprising approximately, okay, the 10% over there. So now if you have a look over here, what does CAIA tell us? CAIA tells us, okay, and I'll try and stick with the same colors over here. CAIA tells us that your first 7 topics, from number 1, institutional asset owners, all the way to volatility, topic number 7, these topics are guaranteed to come up where? In the multiple choice section. Okay, and that's why you can see over here, guys, I've given you the weightings over here. These are going to be weighted anywhere, okay, between 8 to 12%. Okay, 8 to 12, if you average 8 to 12, you're going to get 10, 10, 10, 10. You go through all of these over here, guys, one by one. You've got the 7 topics averaging at 10%, and that was the 70% that I spoke about a little bit earlier. Is everybody comfortable with that? So remember, guys, these first 7 topics, topic 1 through till topic 7, are guaranteed to come up in the multiple choice question section, and they're going to be approximately 70%. Okay, sorry, exactly 70%, but approximately 10% of your overall mark. And I'll show you what that means in terms of individual multiple choice questions in a second. But there we go. There's your 70%. The challenge that we've got over here, guys, and this is what we've got to try and get some kind of a work with, is your constructed response section. CAIA tell us, there's going to be 2 topics. Topic 8, universal investment considerations. Topic 9, emerging topics. These 2 are only going to be featured in the constructed response section, 10% there and 10% over there. Everyone comfortable? Okay, so we know that they will not come up in the MCQ section. That's a given, okay? And they will only come up in those 2. The challenge that we've got, guys, is that there is going to be 3 constructed response questions, okay? There's 3 overall for constructed response. 1 we know it's coming from universal investment considerations. 2 we know is coming from emerging topics. Where's question 3 coming from? Anywhere of those. Anywhere between topic number 1 and topic number 7. So that makes it a little bit difficult, and I get questions from candidates all day, every day, as we get closer towards exam time, and they ask me, what is going to be question number 3? Where do I think it's going to come from? Which topic? Guys, I have no idea. Promise. And I can also tell you, CAIA don't tell me either. Okay, so that's always going to be our wild card. Okay. We continue onwards. Okay, keep the questions coming if you've got any questions. So let's have a more detailed look over here, guys, then at our exam number 1, which is the MCQs. What do we say about the MCQs, guys? If you remember, in terms of the MCQs over here, these are going to come exclusively, okay, from topic number 1, okay, and all the way through till, topic number 7. Everyone comfortable? So that's where we know that that's where they're coming from. Everybody comfortable? Okay. We know also that the exam weight is for each topic is going to sit anywhere, okay, between 8 to 12%. 8 to 12% in terms of questions now, because remember, guys, that's 8 to 12% of the total 70%. But in terms of multiple choice questions, it's not only 70 multiple choice questions. How many are there? There are 100 multiple choice questions. So you can expect anywhere in that range for any one of the 7 topics between 11 to 17 multiple choice questions. Okay. On average, you're going to get 14 multiple choice questions per topic. And if you sum all of those together, you get as close to 100 multiple choice questions as you can get. Okay, so just remember, when you're looking at the format of exam number 1, you can expect questions only on the first 7 topics, guys, ending with volatility. You can expect approximately anywhere between 11 to 17 questions per topic, which averages out at approximately 14 questions per multiple choice per topic, giving you your 100 multiple choice questions. And again, just like you guys experienced in CAIA level 1, same thing is going to happen to you in CAIA level 2. They generally go in order. So what you can expect, Okay, is that you're going to start off over here, guys. You're going to have questions. Let's just say, for example, you're going to have 14 questions then on topic 1, followed by 14 questions in order on topic 2, etc., all the way through till topic number 7. Okay, that's the format of exam number 1. That's the MCQ exam. Okay, let's just handle a question or two. Okay, Sandeep asked a question on constructive response. Sandeep, I'll handle that one when we get there. Okay. Matt says in terms of constructive response, it's not 3 individual questions, rather multiple questions with mixed marks. Matt, I'm going to handle that exactly right for you. You're spot on with your thinking. But I'll handle that, both of those questions, when we get there. Okay, good. Guys, when we get over here, and this hopefully will answer a lot of the questions in terms of constructive response. So you write exam number 1, multiple choice, 2 hours, and I can tell you guys, remember, okay, we've spoken about this now, 2 hours, and you have got how long? 130 minutes. I'm ignoring the fact that there is that extra time. Okay, you're going to use it to answer your questions. You've got your 130 minutes to answer your questions. Guys, it's like running a race. If you haven't done this one before, they are very, very quick. There's no spare time. There's no time to waste. There's no time. And you're on almost like a little bit of a treadmill, okay, to try and get exam session 1, 100 multiple choice questions done in 130 minutes. It is quick. Okay. Then what happens, guys? You take a break. You take a 30-minute break. Okay. Well deserved. You take yourself a break. You come back for exam session 2. Exam session 2, okay, is the constructed response section. Okay. And as mentioned earlier, guys, there are 3 questions. Okay. That's it. 3 questions. Question 1, question 2, question 3. Question 1, okay, I'm starting to bore you a little bit, I know. Question 1 is going to be on universal investment considerations. Okay. Question number 2 is going to be on emerging topics. Question number 3, anywhere else between topic 1 through till topic 7. Everybody comfortable? Okay. 3 questions. Each question, 10 marks. They're all 10-mark questions. Of course, they're all equally weighted. So each question carries with it, question 1, 2, and 3, carries with it a 33% weighting for that exam. Is everybody comfortable? Okay. Now just to answer 1 or 2 questions that we had before. Okay. When we look over here at, so let's just look at question number 1. And again, they typically go in order. Question 1 will probably be from topic 8, universal investment considerations. Generally, that's where they start. Doesn't have to, though. Okay, so you start with question number 8. Topic 8, and it says to you question number 1. What does it look like? We know it's 10 marks, that they've told us. But something just to remember, it's not, everybody says, is constructed response an essay? No, it's not an essay. Okay, an essay is long writing, nice sentences, fresh grammar, nothing of the sort for constructed response, guys. Okay, so what is question number 1 going to look like? Question number 1 is going to start off with, okay, part A. Okay, go to part A, followed by what, guys? A part B, probably a part C, very likely a part D, and maybe even a part E. So now what do you notice? Now you have, let's give you the marks related to these. Part A is 2 marks. Part B, just 1 mark. Part C is, 3 marks. Okay, and part D is 2 marks, and part E is maybe 2 marks as well, giving you a total of 10 marks altogether. This is the structure, guys, that you can expect your exam to look like. Okay, it's very much little punchy points question. Give 2 advantage of this particular system. State 3 of this. Mention this. And I'm going to go through a little bit of as we go through it. But guys, very, very important. When we say you've got 3 questions, okay, 1 for topic 8, 1 for topic 9, and 1 from somewhere else, it's not really 3 questions. It's probably going to be, if we take the A, B's, and C's all together, it's very likely to be anything between 10 to 15 questions altogether. Little questions. Okay. As you can see over here, what I've given you for question number one, a part A, a part B, a part C, a part D. Very unlikely to be anything less than at least a C, probably a D. And as I say, sometimes they can go as much as an E as well. Okay, let's have a look at some of that. We've got a question over here. Okay. Um, Okay, what do I recommend that you do in the break? Okay, I recommend that you get something to eat and to drink and you relax. Okay, clear your head. Guys, after you've written exam session number one for CAIA level 2, which is your multiple choice section, okay, you've done the long part. I don't say the hard part, but the long part. For exam session 2, constructed response, where you've got your 3 constructed response questions, there is no time pressure at all. And guys, this is a message to the guys writing CFA. The CFA guys are used to time pressure for their constructed response questions. Constructed response at CAIA level 2 is a completely different animal to what you experienced in CFA level 3. Completely. Okay. There is no time pressure at all. So Sandeep, just remember there's no time pressure. You've got time. You type out your answers on the computer. No grammar grammar is not a concern. Spelling is not a concern. Sentence construction doesn't really matter either, as long as your sentence makes sense. It's not an essay, and it's okay. I hope I made that very clear. And just remember, after you've written exam session 1, take a deep breath, because you are not under any further time pressure in answering CAIA level 2 exam session 2 constructed response. Okay. All right. Okay. We move on a little bit over here. Just a few points I want to mention, and this is mainly for the CFA guys that perhaps are not yet familiar with the multiple choice question structure of CAIA. Okay. Unlike CFA, MCQs contain either 3 or 4 answer choices, ABC, or ABC and a D in there as well. Very important, and this again, I suppose, a little bit more related to the CFA guys, and if there are any FRM guys on our program as well, less than 30% of the exam is calculation based. Less. In other words, what does that mean, guys? It means that 70%, okay, of this exam, okay, 70% is what you're either going to call, people break it down, they either call it theory, call it whatever you like, or people call it qualitative. Okay, but only 30% is calculation based. Okay, in terms of calculation policy, by now everybody's familiar with this. It's the HP12C. Okay, and the Texas Instruments BA2 Plus, or the professional as well. But everybody hopefully is familiar with that from CAIA level 1 or from their CFA. Guys, just a little bit of advice I want to mention over here. Very, very, very important. Do not leave any answers blank. There's no penalties for guessing. So whatever system you might have become familiar with CAIA, there's no penalties for guessing. So if you're not sure what the answer is, just guess. We'll talk about a bit of a strategy in a second. Okay. Point 5, you need to know the formulas by heart. Okay. As mentioned, I've asked Sandeep just to remind me, okay, to send out a formula sheet to all you guys, okay, of which formulas you don't need to know for CAIA level 2, and I'll send it out in the next day or so. Okay. Other than that, guys, and as I said, there's I think 7 or 8 formulas altogether, but other than that, there is nothing else, okay, that is provided to you in this exam. Okay, you need to know them by heart. Okay, in terms of specific performance data for the asset classes that you don't need to know. So, for example, you don't need to know that hedge funds generated a return of an equity hedge fund generated a return of 22% across the last 10 years. You just need to have a bit of a sense of where everything fits in. By way of example, guys, we need to know, for example, that equity short bias funds, terrible performance, worst performance of all the asset class, of all the alternative asset classes over the last 20 years. Okay, guys, let's see if we are all on board. Which other asset classes? I've given you one. The one that I've given you guys is, okay, equity, hedge fund, short bias. Terrible performance. Which other one? Asset class carries with it a very terrible performance. Guys, I'm going to check the chat. What do you think? Which other one? Terrible, terrible performance. Okay. I'm checking. Mark says art. Nope. Kits, I like your answer. Okay, Kit's got it. Okay, Matt, thank you as well. Volatility, it either does well or badly, but not over the long period. Commodities, and guys, when I talk about commodities, we're talking about commodities as a standalone investment. Okay, not when you join them together with commodity futures. Okay, just commodities alone. If you had to just choose that as an investment class, that's been a bit of a shocker over time. Okay, almost in the category of equity hedge fund short bias funds. Okay, just Kim, to answer your question over there, are there probabilities of which topic 1 to 7 is likely to be asked in the constructed response? I told you guys are going to start to ask me which one I think is coming up. No, unfortunately, there's no real way of asking, and if memory serves, okay, they do tend to move them around between the topics. If I just take you back up here, guys, which of these, okay, 7 are most likely to come up? There's no real way of telling. And as I say, they move them around a little bit year on year. Sometimes they're going to ask you volatility. Sometimes they're going to ask you, Kim, I will give you a bit of advice. And this I give to all my candidates, but it's not foolproof, but it's just something that does tend to happen a little bit at the CAIA level. Okay, is that, remember, and we're going to go through this. Topic 8 and topic 9, these two. Okay, let's just have a quick look over here. I'm just going to change my color. You can see them nicely. These two over here, where we know for sure questions are coming up, for sure. Universal investment considerations and emerging topics. Both of these two topics are very much, okay, theoretical, qualitative things like that. Not much at all as you go through these. Will you see much in the way of calculations? Typically speaking, the third question that they're looking for, that they're going to take from any one of those 1 to 7, will involve a little bit more in the way of calculations, typically. Okay, but I can't promise you more than that. Okay, and that's not foolproof either, but just a little bit of guidance, I suppose. Okay, guys, we move on over here. Okay, what I want to do now, and I hope you didn't think you were going to come to today's session and just relax and listen to me talk. I've had enough talking. Okay, you're going to do a little bit of work now, and I just want to illustrate, and this is, I suppose, a little bit in the way of just trying to assist perhaps those that are not familiar with the way CAIA likes to ask their questions, etc., etc. Okay, I've put together a little bit of a practice exam. We're not going to go through them all because I still want to be handling constructed response with you guys in today's session. And I see the time is moving along a little bit. Okay, what I want to do is just a couple of questions over here, just to make sure that you guys are familiar with how to answer multiple choice questions at the CAIA level. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to just I've got my timer over here. I'm going to put the timer on. So once, okay, just to remember, guys, let's just try and set the timer here. Okay, is that once we start looking at a question, okay, I'm going to give you 78 seconds. Remember, we're going for the extra 10 minutes. We're gonna grab that amount of time. Okay, and I just want to illustrate to you, just in terms of a little bit of exam strategy, guys, how to manage MCQs. Because remember, guys, MCQs, 70% of your exam. So we got to be able to manage those a little bit better than the others. Okay. So guys, as you can notice over here, what I've done, okay, is I've put together a total of just 7 questions for you. Okay, I've broken them down into calculation based. I've only given you 2 calculation questions. I've called the other component, I've called that other. There's 5 questions, a little test for us all. Okay, 7 questions. As I say, I'm not going to do them all with you. I'm just going to pick 2 or 3 of them, and we're going to do them together. In fact, you're going to do them, and once I push the go button, guys, you've got 78 seconds. As you know the answer, guys, please pop it into the chat straight away. Okay, I will give everybody the full 78 seconds to answer. We'll take it like that. Okay, guys, question number 1 first. I'm just going to, before I show it to you guys, I'm going to put my timer on. Okay, and you've got 78 seconds. As you get an answer, pop it in the chat. Everybody ready? Okay, question number 1. Let's go. My timer is on. Get going. I'm going to stop talking now. Okay, 78 seconds is up, guys. Okay, I'm getting mostly B's and I've had one or two A's. Okay, looking over here, guys, and let's just have a look at this together. And more than the answer, I just want to try and illustrate a point to you over here and provide a little bit of exam strategy to you. Okay, question number one says, okay, when adopting the total portfolio approach, and by the way, guys, TPA, total portfolio approach, is one of the new topics that have been attached to CAIA level 2 in 2025. So are they going to ask more questions on it than other topics? I have no idea. I'm just telling you it's new. Okay. One of the issues is that on an ex-ante, guys, is what? Forward-looking basis. Many well-diversified portfolios have similar risk-return characteristics. However, on an ex-post basis, ex-post is what, guys? Backward-looking, historical, these portfolios have very different realized returns. Based on this, additional heuristics and judgment is required to identify the portfolio best suited to solve the investor's objective. And the question is very easy if you know it, not so easy if you don't. Which of the following terms best describes the above mentioned issue? Okay, now remember, and I was watching the responses, guys. You had 78 seconds to answer the question, okay? And most of the guys were getting it very quickly. Why were you getting it so quickly? Because, guys, let me tell you, this type of a question at CAIA, of which there are fairly many of them in your 100 multiple choice exam, okay, is very, you know it or you don't. Okay, so that's why you could see over here, guys, and I'll just take you over here just to show you the answer for those that are interested, okay? And the answer, of course, is solution 1B. It's the flat max problem. There we go. But again, and most of the guys got that, okay? But a lot of guys didn't answer, okay? Now, either they didn't want to answer for whatever reason, or they didn't know the answer. Now, just remember, when you get a question like this, what if you come to this question and you don't even know what flat max means, and you've never in your life heard of the banality of benchmarks problem? What do you do? Okay, this is the advice that I give all candidates. There are going to be these types of questions in the exam. You know them or you don't. But remember, guys, an interesting point with this particular one, does everybody agree that no matter how long you sit on this question, you think about it and you analyze it and you reread it, if you don't know what these three things mean, model error, flat max, or banality of benchmarks, it's not going to help you. Am I right? Okay, so the best thing to do when you get to a question like this, guys, that you have no idea to the answer, I always tell candidates, before the exam, have your letter. What's your letter? It's either an A, a B, or a C. I wouldn't go for D because there's not that many D's in the exam, but pick your letter, have an A. You read through this question, you have no idea what this is talking about. Okay? What do you do? Well, if your letter is A, guys, go to A, click A, and move on. Okay, don't waste time on time is a rare commodity in CAIA level 2. Don't waste time, guys, trying to think it through again and again. because either you know it or you don't. There are going to be questions that, yes, you may be able to try and think your way through it. Okay, but question, that's why I specifically put this one over here. You know it or you don't. If you know it, you'll get it quickly. If you don't, you'll also, but get out of there quickly, guys. Put your A if that's your letter, and every single time you get one like this in your exam of 100 marks that you're not completely familiar with, you put your letter, your A. That'll increase your probabilities, guys. We've proven that. Okay, always go for your letter. Don't one time go A, one time go B, one time go C. Keep your letter. Okay. Question two, I'm not going to do together with you, but I just wanted to show you the format of what you are likely to get in an exam, guys. This is a CAIA special. Okay, it's kind of like what we call a two-parter, and it asks you a little bit of, and it gives you 4 different points. And the question says, okay, which of the following, when we say which of the following, which of these 4 points are typical advantages of participating in an employer sponsored defined benefit plan rather than investing directly yourself? Then what do you have to do? You've got to go through these 4 and you've got to see which one is in fact an advantage. Just a little bit of exam technique with these guys. Okay, I always suggest what you do, okay, is you go through each one. You go read number 1. It says pension plans offer economies of scale for investment managers. Yes, I think that's right. Number 2, I don't think that's right. I'm not even looking at these. Number 3, I think, yeah, that one might be right. There. And number 4, yes, I think that's right as well. Okay, and then you go and hope and pray that in your A, B, C's, and D's that there is one that's got a 1, a 3, and a 4 in it, and obviously you find your answer. Okay, but this is a very typical type of CAIA question, guys, in which we call these the two-parters. Just watch out for them. They do tend to consume a little bit of time, but my advice to you guys is go through the points that they've given you, okay, and then hopefully, and tick yes if it is an advantage, tick no if it's not an advantage, and go through it that way. Okay. Question 3, I'm not going to upset anybody with, but I will make this available to you, of course. Question 3 is a nice calculation question with the difference between reported pricing, okay, and true pricing, real pricing. This is obviously dealing with the concept of smoothing in CAIA level 2. Okay. Let's look at question number 4. Is everybody ready? I'm going to get my my timer on. Everybody ready? Let's just clean that up. Okay, everybody ready? Question number 4. Okay, go. 78 seconds, I'm timing. As you got an answer, pop it in the chat. Okay, 78 seconds is up, and we've only got one answer thus far. Okay, and obviously this is a much longer, more detailed type of a question. Okay, and I'm going to give you the solution, of course, to this one as well, guys. But the point I want to illustrate over this one, okay, is it's a long question. Okay. It is a long question, okay, And when you get to a long question like this, and you can see it's a long question because only one person managed to answer this question on time. Okay. Now, what do you do with these long ones when you get one like this? And I'm not even spending time on going through this one with you in any kind of detail. I just really want to show you the exam technique surrounding it more than anything. Okay. When you get one like this and you look at this one and you go, wow, okay, this is long. Okay. And it is. Okay. Now, look over here. There's a little button on your computer. It's the flag. What I do, okay, and I advise my candidates to do as well, okay, is put the flag up. Say, listen, you know what? This one is what we call, it's got a name, by the way, guys. These are called time suckers. Time suckers are those multiple choice questions that suck up your time. Because to do this in 78 seconds, we saw nobody was able to other than one today, okay? Maybe people aren't yet that exam ready. I understand that as well, but they do take time. Everybody comfortable. So when you get a time sucker and you see something like this and you start to look at it, you say, no, I'll come back to you. Okay, put the flag up. Remember, the minute you put the flag up, you can then move on to the next question, and you can go at the end of your exam and you can see all the flags that you put up, and you can answer all those questions then at the end of the exam when you've got a bit more time. And you say, well, listen, if I can finish them, great. If I can't, not. The problem with time suckers, guys, is what a lot of guys do is they start the question, and after 78 seconds, or maybe even a little bit longer than that, probably a little bit longer, they come up with an answer. Then they look over here, okay, at the A, B, C's, and D's, and their answer's not there. So what do? They start the working again. You know, I must have just missed something in my calculation. You start again. It's sucking up your time. And often you can spend 3 minutes, 4 minutes on a question like this. And I can tell you guys, if you haven't got it the first time around, the chances of when you're now in a little bit of a panic and trying to change numbers and make it work, okay, don't do that. Okay, so my best advice I can give everybody is if you see one and you even start doing it and you find it's taking too long, put a flag on it and move on. Because remember, guys, question number 90, 91, 92, 93, etc., the last 10 questions of your exam, they may all be what we call low-hanging fruit, easy questions, but you never get there because the time suckers have held you up. Okay, so when you get a time sucker, when you get one that's a little bit long, guys, take a deep breath, put your flag up, and you'll come back to it later. Don't be tempted by the fact that you want to try and get the answer out, which we all do, of course. Okay. Okay, and guys, I'm not going to go through it with you guys. It's not really the purpose of the session is not really the purpose to go through material with you, but it's really just a case of just giving you a bit of a direction in terms of strategy. I will provide you, of course, with the answers to these as well. Okay. Okay. So see if there's one more. Let's do one more, guys. Question number 6. Okay, question number 6. Get going. Throw your answers in as soon as you got one. Question number 6. Okay, guys, I think you've all got this one. Okay, and of course the answer to this one, guys, was everybody got. No one was fooled by my little trick over here when we mentioned commonality. No one went for view commonality, which I'm very impressed with you all. Okay, everybody went with exposure inertia. Why did I put this question up, guys? 2 reasons. Number 1 is, again, the CAIA is very famous for doing this, guys, and this, in terms of your preparations, as you go through the material time and time again, watch for these words. view commonality, they love these fancy words, and they're going to ask you them. If I take you back to question number 5, you've got a question over there. These words, most favored, nation status, excuse rights, use of name clauses, blah, blah, blah. CAIA loves that type of question. A lot of candidates say to me, but that's not really testing it. We know the material so well. I said it is what it is. That is how CAIA examine. You need to know these terms well. When you're going through material and you see something highlighted, you see something in bold, and you say, well, that's an interesting word, make sure you know what it means, because it's going to come up in your exam. Okay, the second point that I want to mention over here is, and I watched very carefully, okay, as you guys were answering questions, okay, everybody got this one very quickly. So just remember, guys, there are going to be quite a few questions where you can bank a little bit of time. So there's no way that this question would take anybody that knew the answer 78 seconds. It would take you significantly less time. So bank the time, and remember, guys, when you've banked the time, so 78 seconds, maybe you could do this one in 30 seconds, so you bank yourself about 48 seconds. You'll use that time at the end to go through all your flags. So don't stress if you are putting up flags, guys, because you will come back to all of those at the end of the session, okay, your exam session. You should have time, because there are these questions. I specifically wanted to show you this one, these types of questions, which are short, punchy questions. Bank the time, and you'll handle them then at the end. Everybody comfortable? Okay. So that's just a little bit of a practice multiple choice exam question, guys. Okay, and obviously I'll make these available to you at the end of today's session. Okay, there we go. There's your answers. They're all available to you. There we go. Okay. What I want to do now for probably the balance of the session today, guys, is to give you guidance then on the constructed response section, to look at a typical exam question for constructed response. Okay. And let's just have a look at this. And remembering, of course, guys, this is exam session number 2, constructed response. And what else do we know about that, guys? This makes up 30% then of your exam. Okay, let's have a look over here. And you'll notice that as we go through this, guys, we have covered a lot of this already through today's session. Okay, there'll be 3 constructed response question in exam 2. Okay, for those that may have joined a little bit late, okay, question number 1 is coming up from where, guys? Topic 8. Question number 2, we know, is coming up from topic 9, emerging topics. And question number 3, we have no idea where it's coming from, but we know it's coming anywhere between topic 1 and topic 7. Okay, those are your 3 questions. Each question, we know, is 10 marks. Everyone comfortable? Okay. Let's have a look further. Okay. They may cover any of the exams. So when they're going to ask, there's nothing that's really specific where they're going to be asking from, guys. They could be asking almost from anywhere across the syllabus. They're not specifically focusing on any specific. For example, when they're asking you questions from topic 8, which one? Anywhere. Okay. Okay. We spoke about this earlier on as well, guys. Constructed response questions come in several parts. So question number 1 will have an A, a B, a C, a D, maybe even an E. Okay. And they'll tell you how many points there are. Okay. I'm going to show you this when we do our practice exam together, guys. Now, when they tell you how many points, that's going to guide your answer. But I'm going to show you how to do that when you look a little bit further. It's not an essay, guys. Okay. And how do we know it's not an essay? Because each part is what? 10 marks, each question, and it's made up about 4 to 5 parts per question, an A, a B, a C, and a D, etc. Not an essay. Don't worry about that. Okay. Answers typed in the computer. Okay. And remember, guys, you're going to feel, and I need to illustrate this to you and make you very clear about this, guys. You are going to feel a little bit strange in the constructed response paper, and you're going to think, is that all? Is that it? Okay, because each part of the 3 questions, okay, can be answered very shortly. Okay, in one or two little paragraphs, guys. It doesn't need much more than that. Okay, very, very briefly. And you think to yourself, hold on a second, I've just written exam session one, which nearly wiped me out in terms of time. It took long. Well, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and now I'm able to answer these questions. And I can tell you guys, when I wrote CAIA Level 2, it's about 10 years ago, there were me and 10 other candidates approximately in the room all writing together. And after an hour, 1 hour of my two, I turned around and everybody was gone except me. And I can tell you guys, the other 10 candidates were not fools. You don't get to CAIA Level 2 with not knowing your stuff. Okay. So they were able to, me being the nerd that I was, I took my full 2 hours and I rewrote and I checked that, okay, but that's just my nature. But I can tell you, you'd look at your paper and you say, is that all that I got to write down? And yeah, the answer is yes. Okay, so don't be put off by that. Don't be dissuaded. Okay. Guys, no need for full sentences. You don't get penalized for poor grammar. And guys, this is for the CFA level 3, guys. There is no time pressure here at all. Exam session 2, you can take a break. You can go to the bathroom, whatever you want to do. Don't waste time, but you're not under time pressure. Okay. Okay. And a question over here, 1 to 2 paragraphs. How many sentences is that? It doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you because you're going to be guided by the marks that they give you. And I'll show you that. Okay. Okay. So I've made CAIA Level 2 constructed response seem like it's the easiest thing in the world. Okay. What makes it difficult? Okay. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. I've made it seem perhaps, and that's why I'm going to walk back some of my, make sure nobody thinks this thing is too easy. Okay. There is a very, very, and guys, CFA level 3, guys, this is different for you. Okay. There is a very strong focus on knowing the material. The questions are very, very, very specific. Unlike CFA level 3, when they would ask you, so for example, you really had to twist your brain. You had to come up with a plan. You had to come up with a portfolio. You had to construct. You had to strategize. You had to really, really work. CAIA level 2 is not that. CAIA level 2, for example, a question CAIA level 2 is, you are the managing director of a REIT, a real estate investment trust. Please state 3 advantages of a REIT over a REOC, a real estate operating company. And you think, but hold on, is this the level for CFA level 2? And it doesn't matter what we think, okay? But just remember, you're going to get very, very specific questions. It's not necessarily going to be questions that you can make up the answers. Okay, so there's a very, very strong focus, guys, on knowing your material very, 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 very well. Everybody comfortable with that? So just please, guys, I beg of everybody, know your material. That's how you're going to get through these 3 constructed response questions. Know your material well. Okay. Okay. The last point I want to be talking about, then I want to look at a bit of a practice paper together with you. When a constructed response question asks for a specific number of examples, let's say, for example, it says to you, please provide 2 reasons, 2 advantages, 2 disadvantages, etc., only provide 2. Okay, the CFA guys are used to this by now. What do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, they say to you, please provide 2 examples of so and so and so. So you provide example number 1 and you provide example number 2, and you think, you know what, I'm so clever that I know all 4. Okay, examples. So you provide 4. You know what they do? They take their pen and they cross out number 3 and 4 because they've only asked you for 2, and they just read your first 2. Okay, so guys, don't waste time, energy, or anything like that. Not that time is the biggest issue, we know that, but guys, when they say 2, just provide 2. And if you provide 3, this is a risk that you run. Let's just say, for example, you provide 3. Okay, you provide 3. Number 1 was right of your advantages, but you got number 2 wrong and you got number 3 right. You know what they're going to do? They put their pen over there off number 2, and you only get number 1 right and number 2 is wrong. But hold on a second, I put number 3, that was right. They don't look there. They asked for 2, they're going to mark the first 2. So if you know 3, okay, put your best 2 first. Okay, just a bit of advice, guys. Don't leave your best one for last, because it's not going to count for any marks. Is everybody comfortable so far? Okay, guys, we're going to move on. I am watching the clock a little bit, okay, and what I want to do now, okay, is just for the next 10 odd 15 minutes, look at what is likely to be a practice, a question that you are likely to get in your exam, okay, for constructed response at CAIA level 2. Okay, and again, guys, I'm going to do the first one with you just to give you a bit of an illustration, and we'll try again after that to do them individually. Okay, let's have a look over here. Typically, what do you find, guys, as you get through each and every constructed response question? You're going to find a bit of a story. What does the story say? Look at our story over here. Okay, and our story tells us James Formsby, okay, is an expert on DeFi, decentralized finance. He's giving an introductory class, okay, to a group of banking students at Big Bank Incorporated. Story, 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 story. He makes the following statement. DeFi makes use of a multi-layered architecture. Each layer within the structure builds upon each other to form the DeFi, the decentralized finance building blocks. A key concept behind the DeFi is that the layers are what we call hierarchical. Okay, in other words, the top layers are only as secure as the layers underneath them. Everybody comfortable? Okay, all of that, it's just extra. That's not the question. Okay, then the question says, using your knowledge of DeFi, which of the 5 layers in the stack creates user-oriented applications that connect the various individual protocols? I'm changing color specifically over here, and it says describe how this layer achieves this connection. What do you notice? Let's just break this down a little bit in terms of what you can expect for a constructed response at CAIA level 2. Okay, so number 1 is, what did you notice? This is all the guys are doing this, of course, guys, but what you notice, of course, guys, is that there's always a little bit of a story. It's not really much in it, okay? Don't let that sway you and confuse you in any way. You may find some stuff over here in the story that you say, oh, I didn't understand that. Oh, I didn't understand that. Don't let that dissuade you, because a good chance that it may not even be any part of your answer at all. Okay, where does your actual answer start over here? Now it says to you, using your knowledge of DeFi, and it's a question, guys. Look at over here. Which of the 5 layers in the stack creates user-oriented applications that connect the protocols? Now, remember, guys, what do you notice about this? Let's have a look. Number 1, okay, the question is very, very specific. Which of the 5 layers? So obviously, guys, you needed to know that there were 5 layers in the DeFi stack, and the question is very specific, not very thought-provoking at all. It's not making you think. Either you know it or you don't know it. And that's why I mentioned earlier, guys, that you need a level of knowledge here that is very, very focused, very, very specific. Either you know it or you don't. Okay, so the first part says, which of the 5 layers? Now, in terms of your answer, guys, how long is your answer going to be? 3 words. 2 words, depending on which stack you're going to go for. I don't want to give it away. Okay. Quick, quick, quick. No grammar, no nothing. Write the answer. Everybody comfortable? Okay. Now, if I then have to say to you guys, okay, but hold on a second, and this is where you got to, we sometimes don't lose focus at all, guys. But often you find that CAIA questions are broken down, even in the A. So we're in question number 1, part A. But even part A of A, B, C, D, and E, whatever, is also broken down into 2. Please make sure, guys, that you answered the question. Okay, so just be careful that when you're looking at these, that even within the various individual parts, yes, that you do manage to answer all the questions. Okay, because look over here. Now, in terms of the marks, what do we notice? Let's look over here, guys. What do you see? 2 marks. Okay, where are the 2 marks? Most likely over here. Okay, um, you're going to find over here that if you look at your breakdown, you've got 2 parts over here. Okay, 2 parts, nice and easy. Okay, then what do you know? 1 mark, 1 mark. Simple. Everybody comfortable. Okay, nothing too crazy here. So if you have a look over here, where are my marks? Okay, oops. Just see what I've done over there. I seem to have lost my picture. Everybody still with me over there? Let me just get back over there. Okay. I seem to have, oops. Everybody still with me? Can you all hear me? I seem to have a bit of a breakdown here on my side. I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm going to just try and reshare the document with you. Okay, we seem to be back. Is everybody still there with me? Okay, good. We continue onwards then. Okay, I do apologize for that little break in reception. Okay, so guys, if we take a look over here, guys, is everybody comfortable that when we look at this particular section that we've got over here, every question, even within part A and a part B, you may have 2 different components that both need to be answered. When I look over here, guys, at in terms of the mark allocation, what did we notice over here? Look over here. Okay. There are 2 marks. Where are the 2 marks? Mark number 1 is going to be which of the 5 layers? 1 mark. Mark number 2 is describe how this layer achieves the connection. Can everybody see that we are going to be very, very strongly guided, okay, in terms of our answers over here, guys, by the mark allocation. So always read your mark allocation, see the 2 marks, go back to the question and say, have I answered everything as I should have answered? Is everybody comfortable? Okay. I want to take you to the solution over here. I don't want to upset anybody, but just remember, what are we looking for? We're looking for which of the 5 layers in the stack and describe how that layer achieves its connection. Let's go look over here at the solution. Wow. Guys, that is your whole solution. And even this solution that I've done over here, guys, it's too long, and I'll show you why. Okay, when I look over here, okay, the first answer would be the application layer. I've given you a little bit of a description of it, about it, guys, but let me be honest with you guys, you didn't need to put that in. Okay, I'll read it to you just for interest's sake. This layer creates user-oriented applications that connect the various protocols. But remember, guys, that part, I'm going to cross it out now, is not where you would have got your mark. You get a full mark for just pushing what, guys? The application layer. Is everybody comfortable? Part number 2 is it said describe how it works. Well, look how it works, guys. What do we say? Okay. Let's see how it works. The interaction is usually done via a web browser front end, making the protocol easier to use. 1 mark. Crazy. Okay. What do you notice about this, guys? When we come out of this particular section over here, what do you notice? That you don't need big sentences. And I think someone asked a little bit earlier in terms of, hold on a second, how much more do we need to write? That's it. Little. So for writing the application layer, you get 1 mark. And for telling me that the interaction is done normally with the use of a front-end browser, you get another mark. Simple. Is everyone comfortable? 2 marks. And as I say, guys, don't be dissuaded or put off when you say, hold on a second, wow, is that all you need to write? Yes. But on the downside, what did you notice over here? Is that if you didn't know this, you can't guess it. You can't guess it. Either you know it or you don't. Everybody comes. So can you see the pressure that it kind of like puts onto candidates in knowing the material very well? That's the downside. That's the difficulty of CAIA Level 2 exam session 2 constructed response. Okay, I'm just going to do one more together with you. Okay. Let's look at part number D. Okay. Hold on, let me see if I can. So we just got a question over here. Let's just handle that. Okay. Is the minimum passing score 70? Yes, the minimum passing score to pass this exam is 70%. But remember, okay, that if you get, it doesn't have to be 70, maximum 70, but it could be a little bit lower as well, depending on what the general marks are. Okay. Sandeep asks, is it possible that someone who keeps up with DeFi thinks that some of CAIA readings are already out of date? Sandeep, the problem that you've got over here, Sandeep, is that, remember, they don't change the readings every year. Okay, so yes, there are going to be some that might be a little bit. Remember the speed that DeFi, the speed that AI, generative AI, etc., is moving is way ahead of what CAIA can keep up with. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, but remember, and this is something one of the guys said to me, well, hold a second, what if the stuff is not exactly up to date or 100% correct? I said, guys, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, you have to do the CAIA material to pass this exam because that's where the answer is. So, Sandeep, I agree with you. I sympathize, but you got to learn the stuff as it is, even if it's a bit outdated. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Okay, and I'm not going to do this one in any kind of great detail together with you, but let's just have a look at it together, guys. What do you see with this one? Forms B is joined by the head of loans at Big Bank, Henry Odongo. Odongo states that decentralized loan platforms do not require the borrower nor the lender to identify themselves. Anyone with access to the platform can borrow money or provide liquidity to an interest. Based on this, DeFi loans are completely what we call permissionless, okay, and do not require a trusted relationship to function. And again, what do you notice, guys? All of that we didn't need. Okay, because remember, the question is always going to be where? On the back end. Let's have a look over here. Then it says, state. What does state mean? Don't explain them. Write them down. Okay. Write them down. State what they are. And how many, guys? This question made it a bit easier. Okay. Oops. 2 lender protections that stop the borrower from running away with the lender's funds. And again, how do you know that it all mixes together and it all gels well? There are 2 marks over there. So what do you know, guys? Mark number 1 for one protection, one lender protection. Mark number 1 for the second lender protection. And there, of course, you will get your 2 marks overall. Okay, so guys, work very closely with the actual mark allocation. Okay, and you'll be fine. Okay, but just one thing coming out of this, I hope people have got a strong sense, guys, of the fact that you need to know your material well. It's not going to be, for the most part, guys, it's not going to be a type of a question at CAIA Level 2 that is going to make you overthink. I don't want to sound disrespectful in any way, but it's more about knowing the material well. Okay, is everybody comfortable? Okay, we move on a little bit over here. I'm not going to go through the rest with you, okay, but you can see again, okay, that hopefully you're starting to notice a trend over here with the questions is that you need to know your material very, very well. Okay, and again, there are no long sentences, there's no grammar, there's nothing like that. It's just really about knowing the material and then answering the question then based on that. Okay, good. Okay, and there's your solution as well, guys. As mentioned, of course, I want to make this available to everybody. Purpose of today's session was, of course, not to get go through questions specifically with you, but the purpose of today's session was more just to give you strategy and guidance. Hopefully we've achieved that. Okay, just in terms of this, because this is important for everybody, I'm not going to spend much time. I'm just going to show it to you very quickly, because everybody's going to pass the exam. What happens when you pass the exam, guys? Then you become a CAIA charter holder. What do you need to do? Just remember, your results come out around about 6 weeks after the exam session closes. You think that's long? It is, but remember, they've got to mark the constructed response. Okay, hopefully by then you've passed, and you've passed both levels. Okay, and you need to sign the candidate and membership agreement. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Provide 2 professional references that people say, yes, this is a good guy. No reason that we have any knowledge of why this particular guy should not be awarded a CAIA. You need to find yourself 2 people, okay, and you pay your annual fee. Easy as that, guys. Most guys that I know on our courses, okay, we've had plenty of guys that passed the March exam, okay, and within the same day, okay, they get all of this done, okay, and then once you're finished, you can put whatever your name is, okay, name, and behind your name, hopefully this motivates people, and you can put the 4 letters, the CAIA letters behind you, all done same day. Once you get your results, get that done, okay, quick and easy, and you become a CAIA chart holder. There's not a lot of red tape after that. Okay, any questions? So we've got a few minutes left. I just wanted to show you guys, a lot of guys are asking us in terms of product. Guys, just if you are interested in anything at this point in time, okay, just various options that we've got available for you, okay. And if you just look over here, anybody that wants to make contact, if you've got a question or a query, something like that, absolute pleasure, guys, just pop it in over here. There's my email address, russellj@ebs.co.za. There is our web address, okay. And just very, very briefly in terms of the options and what I would recommend for people at this, I'm not going to say late stage, but yes, as we move towards the exam, okay. Number one, in terms of what we've got on our website, revision and exam program. The revision exam program is once you've finished all the material, guys, you've gone through it once already, be it with Edge, be it with another prep provider, even if you've been brave enough to go through the material, through the actual Wiley textbooks yourself, well done to you. They're not easy to get through, so well done. And now you just want a short revision, this will be your option. This will revise the entire CAIA Level 2 syllabus for you, okay. What you get a complete set of notes. You also get 6 practice exams, and I've just got to be very clear with people. When we say 6 practice exams, it's 6 individual exams, 3 multiple choice and 3 constructed response. So it's 3 full exams that you get from us, and you get the formula sheet in there, okay. And that current price is $99, okay. If that's of interest to you, please don't forget to put the coupon code. A lot of guys forget to put the coupon code. It becomes quite difficult afterwards then to reverse and to give them their discount. Normal price is $150, but you get a discount over there. Please use it. Okay. If you are still a little bit behind and you want some more materials, okay, a lot of guys are still wanting to go through material itself, you would have a look at this one over here, because this gives you the revision program, which we've just showed you over there, but it also gives you a complete set of notes, videos, questions in detail. So, but I would not recommend this one, guys, if you already finished studying your material, because this program gives you all the material plus revision and exams. If you finish studying, no need for that. Then obviously you will just look at this one over here, which is just the revision and exam. What we put together, and we're going to conclude with this today, guys, is a constructed response class. We call it the master class, and what this does for you guys is it gives you constructed response, strategy, history, approach, new questions. If you need more practice on constructed response questions only, this one would be for you. It gives you strategy, etc., etc. And again, just have a look over there. Make sure you use the coupon code to get yourself a nice discount on that. I will make all of this available to you either tonight or probably tomorrow morning, time dependent. Okay. Let me have a look over here. Any questions over here? Okay. when should one start going through mock exams, given the level two is late in September? You know, guys, just a word on the mock exams. What a lot of guys do is they do a mock exam and they say, oh, I'm finished. I got 65 or whatever I got, and I'm happy. The great success that's related to mock exams, guys, is the feedback. When you go through an exam, okay, CAIA gives you one full exam, okay, and you can see over here, okay, at Edge, we give you 3 full exams, 6 practice, which is 3 full. You've got 4 full exams if you want it. There are other providers as well, also good, okay. But the key to your success, guys, is going to be that when you finish the exam, you do your feedback properly. In other words, you go, where did you get wrong? Where did you not understand? Because that'll guide you in the final weeks of your preparation where you need to put a little bit more work into your studies. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, okay, to keep working on the material that you know very well. Try when you feedback an exam and you've got the same thing wrong all the time, go over those sections again, reread them, restudy them, etc., etc. Okay. Um, let's just see over here. Any, Okay, I think we have answered everybody's questions, but guys, this is not the end. I'm going to go back up here, guys. Just remember, if you've got any queries or concerns, okay, absolute pleasure. Pop me an email. I'm also, when I send out these notes tomorrow, as well as the video attached to this, guys, I will send out a link to the WhatsApp group. It's a general WhatsApp group which everyone is more than free to join, and you can just communicate among yourselves as you go through. I do watch it, but not overly closely. If you want me to specifically handle something, then just say at my name and I will get onto it. Okay. On that note, guys, I'm going to wish everybody the most magnificent, fantastic rest of your day. I hope everybody has benefited from today's session. Okay. We will hopefully see everybody not in CAIA level 2 again, but we do have other designations, CFA, FRM, it's things like that. I'm going to wish everybody the most amount of success. We don't wish you luck. Luck is for people that have not studied. We wish you success with a bit of fortune and everything goes your way on exam day. And please feel free to reach out if I can help with anything further. Cheers, guys.